Hitting record. Uh, Papa. Okay, so I just want to do some business first. Reiterate some stuff. First off, um, some questions came up, and I don't remember if it was this class or the other class. Um, but I just want to go over. Um, uh, Once again, when should the reading get done? So if you look on the schedule at the end of the syllabus, week 2, that's where we are, March 30th to 31st. That's today and tomorrow. I just wrote in witness watched. Um, uh, I had this there before, but the question came up in, I don't know if, let's see, I'm looking at 4 p.m. So it wasn't in this one. But when should we have watched Witness by? That would be today. Because I'm going to talk about Witness today. Um, and have read Glassner Part 2, Chapter 2 and 3 by today. And then by Thursday, section 1 of the Phillips book, which is the Creator's Guide to Transmedia Storytelling, chapters 1 and 2, and have played Tacoma. So that's on Thursday. That I make the reading quiz due, and the reading quiz hasn't gone up yet. I was working on it before the 3:00 class, and I ran out of time. But it'll be up like by 5:36 at the latest, although I can't imagine it'll take me a whole nother hour. The reading quiz is due on Friday. That means that you will have, I make it due on Friday so that on Thursday, when some stuff is due to have been read, you will have read those Thursday things and then be able to do the quiz, right? So that doesn't mean that you have to have all the reading done by Friday at 5, because that would be after the class, and I will have talked about everything in the reading already, and you will be like, what is he talking about? So please get the reading done before I talk about things. I mean, I'm going to spoil the heck out of Witness today. I'm not really. I don't know. The first 10 minutes or so, or the first half hour or so. But I'm going to be talking about the Glassner today. So I'm going to stop that share. Okay. Witnessed. Also, reminder, I did save the chat log of Witness. It was really funny reading it right after watching. I enjoyed it. It's also interesting to me what you guys are skeeved out by. That when should we have read chapter 1 and 2 of Transmedia? By Thursday. Okay. So just a reminder that even if you whisper to someone in the chat, I'm not going to get into the animal time travel debate. Stop. So even if you whisper to someone in chat that nobody else can see, when I save that chat log, everybody can see that whisper. So be careful. Okay. It's a little thing, but there was nothing bad in the chat log as far as I could see. But that was a little like Zoom fact that I saw online yesterday, and I was like, I should tell my class that. I have a little bit more bookkeeping. We're going to get writing partners. Everybody needs a writing partner by tomorrow. Okay. So if you can, I'd like you to fire up Canvas. And I'm going to share my Canvas screen. Share. And this is the home screen of Canvas, right? So I've set this up so that if you go down to people, this is a list of everybody, and I'm now in student view, so this should be what you guys all see. If you click on the groups tab, right, you should see 12 story pairs. Okay. And I'm not sure exactly how you do it. I can drag people around and put them in groups. But if somebody out there can join one of these groups, pick any of them, you can take yourself out. So this is not a commitment in any sort. Oh, I have to refresh. Yes, we have 2 students in story pair 1. Good. You'll notice, oh, it doesn't say, but there are 25 people in this class. So it's very clear that math says that 11 story pairs are limited to 2, and the 12th story pair is limited to 3, right? So that equals 25. So you can take yourself out of those if you want. If you want to group with someone, I want to give you 24 hours to figure out if you want to group with someone. Please feel free to use the Discord, or if you go into discussions here, you can add a discussion and say, "Hey, anybody want to group with me?" Or put it in the Discord. Let's see. Can I bring up the chat? Nope, I can't. Gosh darn it. Oh, there it is. Wait. Oh, chat. Nope, it doesn't show up. Okay, so before you group, though, I'm going to stop this share. See, as soon as I click stop share, the chat. I hate chat. Okay, so people group join. Yes, thank you, Zach. Should I do it again? Share. Ding. Share. Okay. So if you're on the home page, go to people, click the groups, and you should see whichever group. Can you see, let's see. You can see if people are in by clicking the little arrow once somebody joins one. Okay. So
Jaden Smith is born is saying she doesn't see, or he doesn't see, Jaden doesn't see group. Jaden is not in the right class. Somebody advised them to move to a different, so we're all set.
Okay. Okay. Stop. So coming back to this. Yeah, you got to be in this class. Okay. So the thing about this next assignment, normally we do it in class. I'd say get in groups. If anybody doesn't have a group, I'd call them up and introduce them to each other, and you'd have a group. It's a little weirder with this. This is the only way we can make groups. The thing you have to know is for this assignment, if you're going to work with a writing partner, you have to be able to be on a Zoom or on a call. You can do it on the phone. I don't care, but you have to talk to each other in order to do this assignment, right? You can't just say, okay, we're in a group. I'll do this, this, and this. You do this, this, and this. We'll circle back on Thursday, right? You actually have to spend an hour doing the assignment together. Okay. So if you can't find a time between now and Thursday, it probably take like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, to do what's due on Thursday, and then the final is due on Monday. And I will post these assignments. I'm not there yet. You wouldn't understand what I post. So I haven't posted them yet. But I will tomorrow when I explain the assignment. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that the groups thing worked today and give you all a chance to group with somebody that you know. And if tomorrow by the end of class, you can't find somebody to group with, I'm just gonna assign groups pretty much randomly. So please, please, please work out over the Discord or any of your other various means of talking with other people in this class. Somebody to partner with. The other thing, there's that one group of 3, right? Normally, more people means you get it done faster. In this case, it might take a little longer with 3 people. So whoever wants to be in a 3-person group, be aware that it might take longer. Okay. Just in case you're pressed for time or what have you. Okay. So let me leave student view in my Canvas. And come back to you all. Okay. Any questions about grouping? I think it works. This is the first time I've ever, usually any of you who have had classes with me, I hand out little pieces of paper and say, write down your group, and then I go into Canvas and make the groups. This is the first time I've got to let you all make the groups. So we'll see. Also, just letting you know that if you put yourself in a group and for whatever reason you change your mind, you can pull yourself out of that group and put yourself in a different group. That's fine. That's the way Canvas works. That said, you are going to need a writing partner to succeed at this first assignment. Okay. Okay. Moving on. Any questions? I don't see anything in the chat. Everything seems fine. Okay. So, is there any, what's going on? I've got Discord is lighting up like there's something. I don't know. Okay. I guess not. Oh, now it went away. I think that was somebody just saying thanks. The assignment is not related to Write Club. This is what I called in the syllabus. This is all going to be the let's do Monday. It's the hero's journey story. Okay. So, and it's due Monday, but there are multiple parts to it so the first half is due on Thursday, and then the second half is due on Monday. First half is obviously less than half, if that makes sense. So, okay. Want to talk today about character. Character drives plot. I didn't say that in 3 p.m. Saying it to you guys. Character drives plot. If you can put together a good character, then they will do what they will do, right? So there's a very famous playwright, won the Nobel Prize. His name was George Bernard Shaw. Wrote the the play that won the Nobel Prize in Literature for him was called Saint Joan, about Joan of Arc. But he also wrote a play called Caesar and Cleopatra. He was known for writing historical plays, right? So Joan of Arc, history. Caesar and Cleopatra, history. And in an interview, he was asked how much research he does on historical events. And he said he didn't do any. He said, you tell me who the people are, and I will tell you what happened. Right? So he researched people, and then if he got the people right, then what happened. And in any kind of historical drama, beyond the broad events, the fall of Rome, the burning of Joan, we don't know a lot about what they talked about. We don't know. It's too long ago. They didn't have tape recorders back then. The joke going around during this pandemic was that we should all buy little digital tape recorders and record 2 minutes or less of our thoughts and fears and what was happening, and leave them around our house so that eventually someone would come and find them and put our stories together, right? Because that's the goofy way we tell stories in games now. We have these audio logs, right, which allows each character to talk about their hopes and dreams, and gives a sense of each character, right? We don't do that. Has anybody started your audio logs? I haven't. I saw one, like the local history. Yeah, thanks, Stan. Nope, Stan hasn't either. The local history place, the Framingham Historical Center, said, hey, keep a journal, because most of what we know about big historical events comes from normal people writing journals. So everybody who's reading this, start a journal, because this is a big historical event and you're all normal people. So just tell us what happened today. I didn't start a journal either. I guess it's not in my character. But there are ways to describe characters. Well, not just describe them, but sketch them out. And in a straight drama that is realistic, we don't have dream sequences. We don't have metaphorical Unreal Alexander. What do we got? Something from Twitter. Environmental storytelling. Oh yeah. Well, so pay up, pay your staff. Yeah. I was walking my dog. This was last week. I was walking my dog, and in chalk on one of the driveways of the houses that we walk by, in chalk, there were hearts drawn and colored in, and written, it said, stay safe, stay home. And I was like, woo, environmental storytelling. There we go. That's the other joke, is whenever we write something on a wall, that's environmental storytelling, because that's how we do it in our modern video games. But in a straight realistic drama, we don't have voiceovers. We don't have magical voiceovers in the world. We don't have dream sequences in our world. We just see what happens in the world. The only way we can assess a character, the only way we can see what a character is like is, well, there are two ways. What they say and what they do, right? And that's how we judge each other, right? Or how we assess each other. Let's keep the judgment out. So I say things, and you decide if what I say is worth listening to or not. I say horrible things about people, and you say, "Oh my God, that's a horrible person," right? I do things. I give money to charity. That's an action. I shoot people in the street. That's also an action. I don't have to say anything to do those things, but they reflect my character. So I noticed at the beginning of Witness, people started immediately saying, "Oh my God, they're speaking German," and yeah, that was German. And somebody else was like, "Is that Dutch or German or Dutch? Aren't they Pennsylvania Dutch?" Pennsylvania Dutch is a misnomer, actually. And I'm actually from Pennsylvania Dutch country. So we used to go to Lancaster all the time. And Pennsylvania Dutch are Germans or descended from Germans. When they arrived, they said, "Who are you?" And they said in German, "We are Deutsch," which is German for German, Deutsch. And that got translated as, "Oh, they're Dutch," right? What language do you speak? Deutsch. And I'm probably pronouncing that wrong because I don't speak German. But that's why they're Pennsylvania Dutch, not Pennsylvania German. So yes, that was German. Somebody in the other class. Oh, I didn't save the link. Let's see. Do I still have that? No. I don't know. Did you save the link? I don't know. Somebody in the other class posted a link to the free version on Google somewhere.
It was
Tubi. I don't know. If somebody has that and can post it, you could watch Witness for free. I already gave you a chance to watch Witness for free. But in that version, they had the subtitles on. And here, I will type it because they typed it last time. In the subtitles that you turn on, it just said speaking German. So even the subtitles didn't translate the German. And that's intentional. Peter Weir, the director, didn't want you to understand what they were saying. He wanted the story told by the images, right? And did you really need to understand what they were saying? You got it, right? It's a funeral. Rachel is a young widow. Somehow her husband died before his time. And now Rachel is a widow, and Samuel doesn't have a father. And then we get this weird blonde guy, Daniel, right? Who's a little aggressive at the funeral. He's I don't know, awkward. He's like, "Oh, I will come visit you," right? I think that's the only bit of English that we see or that we hear during that whole section. And then once the funeral is over, we cut to Rachel and Samuel getting on a train to go to Baltimore. I didn't pick it up. I forgot. But apparently Rachel's sister is near to having a baby. So it's very quick after a funeral for somebody to go traveling. Uh, but we can assume that there's another Amish enclave in or around Baltimore, because if she had left the Amish, you wouldn't, the actual Amish faithful would not be going to visit her. So that whole first, I was looking, it is 16 minutes until the murder, right? 16 minutes until we get to Penn Station, and there's oh, look at the cute little Amish boy, right? Look at the hat. And even in the station, it's mostly images, not words. It's Samuel playing with the water fountain. The whole murder scene is all without words. I mean, there's did you check the stalls? There's some screaming, hey man, that sort of thing, but it's inconsequential. It's not anything. If we had the sound turned off, we wouldn't need it. So we tell the whole first 16 minutes of the story without a lot of dialogue, and that's fine. In fact, it's kind of amazing. Peter Weir is known for being a visual storyteller. Peter Weir also directed Master and Commander. If you remember that one, that's Russell Crowe sailing, Age of Sail kind of stuff. Okay, so we get to John Book. What do we know about John Book? Let me share. Let's go to whiteboard, because that's what I have. Whiteboard. John Book is our lead character, right? He's the hero of this. Let's see if I can get. Yes, I got the chat. Okay, so now I can see the chat, or at least most of it. Okay, so if we go by the book, the Gassner, a character consists of a bunch of layers. So his first layer is his world mask, right? So that's the what he shows the world. Who is John Book to the world? Well, if we're going to build a character, the other thing we do is we try to describe the character in contrasting ways. So the very first thing that we know about him is that he's the police, right? He's the detective in charge. But more than that, and what we learn pretty quickly from his sister is that he's about law. He's about being right. He yells at his sister for having a man in the house when her children are home. His name, think about this. His name is John Book, right? He does things by the book. It's kind of on the nose, right? John is the most generic name. I usually go with Bob when I can't think of a name. I don't know. His name's Bob. When I was writing ancient Greek stuff, Age of Mythology stuff, I was like, okay, this guy's name is Bob. And somebody else was like, that's not ancient Greece. And I was like, okay, his name is Bobicus. And Bobicus would have made it into the final game, but the way the spreadsheet separated the pages, Bobicus was at the top of one of the pages, and the producer saw it and said, "You didn't really put Bobicus in there, did you? Come on, man. Come on." So I had to take Bobicus out and name him something else. So one very quick way, what we call a one-dimensional character is to say one thing that defines that character. So if we had done improv, improv loves one-dimensional characters, right? Because an improv sketch is 5-10 minutes. Get it, if 5 minutes, that's kind of long. Make some big choices. Have a character that everybody can see very quickly, and move on, right? So the improv people always use when I bring them in is I like steak, right? I love steak. I love filet mignon. I love ribeye. I love New York sirloin. Does that sound like anybody? Did anybody ever see Forrest Gump? Right? Yeah. The Forrest Gump's best friend in Vietnam is Bubba Gump, or Bubba, right? And the entire time we see Bubba, all he talks about is how to cook shrimp, right? And they made a restaurant out of him, Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, right? And he is a one-dimensional character. What can you say about Bubba? He likes shrimp. He was a shrimper, and he dies. Also, he's not real smart, right? Much like Forrest Gump. So generally, when you say that's a one-dimensional character, that's not a good thing, right? We want more dimensional. We want deeper, more interesting characters. So if we could describe John Book with something else, something that contrasts with Lawful, I'll say violent. He's violent. He's hell at whacking, right? Within 10 minutes of meeting him, we see him walk into a bar and basically manhandle a guy out of the bar and shove him up against the car window, and pretty much beat him up. It's weird 80s racism, that seems to be okay with everybody, including the guy he roughs up. After he roughs the guy up, the guy is like, honest mistake. And goes and laughs and goes back to drinking. It's weird. It's not something that would be in a movie if they remade this movie now. We hear, I mean, he even says he's hell at whacking, which is not what we think of as a lawful way to settle disputes, right? Violence is an agent of chaos. So now we've got a two-dimensional character with contrasting kind of traits. If we were going to do a three-dimensional character, you tell me, what else would we say about John Book? what contrasts, and we can take it from things we see about him later in the movie. What contrasting third contrast, how would we describe him? Somebody put it in the chat. Give me one word. Carpenter. Okay. Family. Okay, let's family, caring, oddly, yeah, craftsperson. It's certainly that third dimension. He is hardworking, devoted. See, we got a bunch now, and that's many more than three. Clever, yes. So the big third thing that we see from him is that that you don't expect. Yeah, he was a carpenter. You don't expect that from him. He gets along really well with Samuel, but he is not married. But we get the impression that he gets along really well with his sister's kids because he gets along so well with Samuel. And the very first thing we see with his sister is he's berating her for having a man in the house while the boys are in the house. The very first thing, well, so we also see that this goes back to the lawful stuff. As soon as he sees Samuel with the handgun, he says, he starts showing it to him, right? And as soon as he sees Rachel see him, he knows he's in trouble, right? The showing the handgun is against their laws, and it's very much he's obeying the laws of the Amish while he's there. So when Eli says, if you're well enough to play around with the car, you're well enough to work the farm. And immediately John Book says, yep, yeah, I'll work. Sure. Show me how. I'll figure it out. So we get that kind of, I am going to obey your laws while I am in your world. I also noticed from the chat that y'all found the whole romance between Book and Rachel really creepy. Like ick, weird, creepy. And it's kind of funny because like that, it doesn't even register for me because I saw this movie in 1985. Not creepy, just unnecessary. He did stare at her through a crack in the door. She stared back. I think that's kind of a once again Peter Weir trying to tell the story without words. So was a bit too early after her husband died. Okay. That whole scene is a kind of will they, won't they? And the implication is that she wants to, that she is offering herself to him. But she can't come right out and say that. So she leaves the door open to be seen. So I want to go back to the book, which is what we call the Onion definition of character. We have the world mask, right? which is John Book the Cop. I am a police officer. I am in charge. I think it would have, well, and we can strip that away. We get his self-image, and when we strip that away, we get well, it's stripped away in the movie when he finds out that other policemen are the bad guys, right? So they're the idea that I belong to this club. A cop is like an onion. Well, a character is like an onion. Onions and ogres have layers, exactly. So one of the things we do in stories is to peel away each layer. We get rid of it. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Shrek is the problem. Sorry, Jaden. Yeah. Um, okay, so once we get rid of the idea that cops are good, we get rid of his world mask. And it becomes about him and his self-image. I am a good cop, right? So there are bad cops and there are good cops suddenly. Instead of all cops are good, I am a good cop. There are bad cops. So it is about me rather than the mask, right? The badge, right? So once we get past that, we get to the conscience, and this is what we believe is right and wrong. And obviously, John Book is. I'm noticing. No, you guys are seeing the whiteboard, right? Yeah. Okay. Usually there's like a green line around the whiteboard or whatever I'm sharing, and there's none around the whiteboard. Okay. So the conscience is, that little voice inside you that says what you're doing is right, what you're doing is wrong. So once we get to the point where he's driving them back to Amish country, right? What's the plan there? Oh yeah, the green line is around my portrait. Okay. He plans to leave, right? He's going to return them to Amish country, make the file go away, and then he's going to go into hiding. Is that what he's going to do? He's going to talk to the feds, go on the run, something. It's unclear. The only clear part is he's going to drop them off and leave, right? And she says, when will we hear about the trial? And he says there isn't going to be any trial. So he has now abandoned his sense of lawfulness. There is not going to be justice in this case. There will be no prison for the bad guys. The only thing he can hope for is that the boy isn't killed, right? Or Rachel and the boy aren't killed. So he abandons that very idea of right and wrong in favor of survival. You're right. So thrown out the window when they attacked him in the garage. Well, yeah, pretty much. He threatens the guy. He says, "I'm going to get you. I know who you are." But somewhere on that drive back into Lancaster, he basically says, I'm done with this case, he calls his partner and says, make the files go away, so that they can't find the lapse. And then below the conscience is what the book calls the true self, right? And that's what's left when everything else is gone. And it really gets stripped away right there. He's wounded, he's feverish, and when he wakes up, he's a fish out of water. He doesn't have a plan anymore. He's just part of this new world, right? And that's really breaking through the threshold to be this hidden Amish person, right? So once we strip someone down to so that all sense of everything else is gone, all their kind of masks, that's when a character can grow and change, right? And it's not quite true. We grow and change all the time. But in a story, the number one thing that we look for is that a character somehow changes. And it's certain that both Rachel and Book have changed by the end of this story, right? Maybe John Book isn't going to be quite so by the book. Maybe he'll be more compassionate. Maybe he'll be more in touch with his more carpentry devoted side. Maybe he won't do as much whacking, right? The other thing that's did you notice the lemonade? All right. So there's a little lemonade thing that goes on. So we see Rachel and Daniel, and Daniel is obviously like come a courting, right? They're sitting on the porch, on that porch swing, and Daniel has his lemonade, and he's taking little sips from the lemonade. Because, well, there are a couple of reasons, but one of the reasons is that the longer he makes that lemonade last, the longer he can hang out with Rachel, right? So he's sipping it, but he's making it last so that the visit lasts longer. And she's obviously uncomfortable. He's awkward. It's a whole thing. And she really wants to be hanging out with John Book. John Book walks by. She makes eyes at him. He's got the super high water pants on that were her husband's. Also, I noticed you all noticed that Daniel has buttons, right? She's just gotten done telling us that none of these things have buttons because buttons are vanity, and you have to be plain. So we use hooks and eyes. And then Daniel shows up and he's got prominent buttons in his shirt. I can only imagine that the button, that shirt is his like courting shirt. You know, that's not his everyday shirt. That's his courting shirt. Yes, Emily, the lemonade does show the difference between Daniel and John, because then she brings John a lemonade and he just gulps that thing down. And she she's appalled. Well, you see her eyes widen when he just sucks that thing right down, because number one, he's thirsty and he doesn't care how long. If she's going to stay, she'll stay because she wants to stay. It's not how long the lemonade lasts for him. There are no social laws for her to stay or go. He doesn't know the rules. But also he drinks deep, right? He grabs what he wants and he takes it, and he, just like with the hot dogs, right? As soon as he sits down, he starts chowing the hot dogs and they say grace, and he's all awkward because he grabs what he wants and he takes it. Later, during the barn raising, did you also notice Daniel has another lemonade while they're up on the barn, and he takes a sip of the lemonade, and then he passes it to Book. And Book, now that he's more in touch with his Amish side, his carpenter side, yes, he shares with Daniel. No, Daniel takes it, sips, gives it to Book. Book takes a sip. He doesn't slug it down. He takes a sip, and then he gives it back to Daniel, who takes another sip. So they share. They don't. Book is about being one with those around him and not just taking what he needs. See what I'm saying? So we see a little bit of Book's progression as a character right there, just in that lemonade. And it's this beautiful little touch that, if you're not thinking about it, if you're not looking for it, if you haven't seen the movie 8 million times, like I have, you don't even notice. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, he sucks that thing right down. Look at it. Why is she so appalled? Oh, because she can't stay if he's done with the lemonade. Her only excuse to be there is to give him lemonade. So the longer he sips it, the longer she can talk to him. Okay, I got time. So here's the other thing. We say, so remember, what we do and what we say, right? The problem is we very rarely say what we want. There's another playwright. His name is David Mamet. He's pretty famous. He said, we rarely say what we want. We say that which we think will get us what we want. All right. And those are two very different things. So if I were, let me switch to, oh yeah, I got rid of it. Oh no, it's over here. Here it is. So new share. Let's go to Word. Okay. So this is what I call the simplest play in the world. Two characters, A and B. That is the simplest play in the world. A wants something. B does not give it to them. It's also not much of a play, right? But once if we extend it a little bit, if A needs to use some tactics, right, to get what they want, that which they want, then it becomes a little bit more interesting. Give me that and I'll give you this. Okay, so Right now, A tries something, right? Tries the bargain. Um, the problem here is if B, so say, um, give me that and I'll give you these. No. Give me that. Oh, A colon. Give me that and I'll give you all these things. B, no. What do we know now? B is pretty much a brick wall, right? Um, there is nothing that A can offer that seems to even phase B. So one of the things we have to do as writers is to open the door. Right. Okay, let's try that. Skepticism. We could do that. Let me just go back to this, not enough. That opens the door, right? There is something that will be enough, but A has not found it yet, right? So when we have a brick wall, we lose interest because we immediately know that there's nothing that will change this, or at least if enough tactics are used without any movement on B's part, then we lose interest because we just think A should give up. So what I like the please. Let's try something a little different. Give me that and I'll be your friend and give you this, right? So we sweeten the deal. Oh, what did I do? B. So now maybe B wants personal engagement. Maybe it's not a strictly transactional nature. I'm late. I'm way late. Maybe he needs or they need something else. Maybe let's finish this up. Give me that or I'll punch. We could go the other way from the carrot. Your lights out. We can go with the stick. Be you and what? Army. Be a what if I loved you forever? Be okay. They hug. It is 5 p.m. Okay, thank you, Zach. I will pick this up tomorrow. Sorry for keeping you late. I had to finish my play. So find yourself a group and make sure if you haven't watched Witness, I'll keep talking about it all week. And a better love story than Witness. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Stop recording.